You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live, and good morning to you, BigBeat, as we roll into the Thanksgiving holidays. Futures are up right now, but Google getting hit real hard, Steve. You see that?
I did, and I told people yesterday, look, I thought Google was over skis a bit, and profit taking coming right in. So it's what we talked about yesterday.
Absolutely, Steve. So far, the Dow futures are up about 20 basis points. S&P showing us up about 31 basis points, and NASDAQ 100 futures roughly up a half a percentage point so far. Gold, nice move to the upside, 41.55 overnight. And Steve, let's talk some silver, baby. What are you seeing out there at 52.37, my friend?
You know, it was interesting to me that we've watched it over the last few days, the dollar kind of collapsing a little bit, wobbling, as I've been saying. And now we're seeing it, pushing back up a little bit here, holding at that 100 handle. That's really telling me that money is flowing into the dollar. Again, the sell-off that we saw in stocks needed to go somewhere because there was a broader sell-off. It wasn't just stocks, right? It was crypto. It was every asset class, and including precious metals. And because of that, we saw it from the perspective of this 48 run to 48. But then people realized that it was too far to the downside, so they had to do something with that money, and they started buying stocks back. Then they had to buy other things back, and one of those was silver. We've talked about silver on a lot of aspects of why silver is not. It's $100 an ounce, right? It should be, because there's not much of it. So I think that's filtering into investors going, you know what, that was a great buy to pick up down there. So I like this. It'll probably pass up the 54 handle very quickly here, probably next week or two, and go right on up to $60 now. I wasn't going to say that before, but I did, because I didn't think so. I thought the $50 was remember I was happy at 46 with $19, right? No, we're going to go right on up, because I think that's where we're at.
So BigBeat is a silver hawk. is what we're going to call you now, with that little, the way you're letting the sides go too. So that's going to be your new nickname
You
from
like
now
that?
on. No
Yeah,
more Big Beat. We got the Silver Hawk at the helm today. I love
Oh,
it.
really? Really? At least I have some up
Hey,
here.
listen, you've called me worse, so don't start, mister.
I have, yes.
With that being said, Steve, under the hood, the macro story for me is pretty simple. Retail sales came in weaker than expected. Producer prices were muted. Consumer confidence took another leg lower. So that soft data put some dovish Fed commentary, has pushed December cut odds into the mid 80% range. Markets now basically expect the Fed to deliver its third and final 25 basis point cut of the year. You still sticking with that?
100%. And
Okay.
And I also will tell you that I think that next year we'll even have 2 to 4 more cuts next year too as well. And I'll tell you this much. With Powell gone, with possibly Mary Cook being gone now, and a few other members that guess what? The president's going to pick them too. So we're going to have a Fed that's very
I'm
hawkish.
hearing Haskett's the hands-on favorite right now, right?
Yeah, Haskett is interesting. He's not the most perfect person because he doesn't have the academic background to do it, but at least he's mirrored with whatever Trump says, so he'll do what Trump says, and that's what they want. So look, if, you know, this is the president. This is the president's White House, so you know what, he deserves to have the administration he needs. Now the Fed is not the administration, I get that, but he deserves to have that because he won. So okay, but if he fails at this and he picks wrong people, that's on his head, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So you know what, Mr. President, this is who you want to pick. So go pick them and let's get them. Let's get them in there and let's get them do their job, right? So okay, but if he fails, it's you know, your legacy's done. It's cooked, right? But he has the right to do it, and I agree with that. So he won. He didn't win big, but he won. So okay. So let's do it, right? And he's done that, right? He's put Mirren in already. He's already told Powell, you're out. He's already given this narrative to the Fed to lower rates, and they haven't done it at the pace he wants. So if that's on the Fed.
Okay. I mean, I can't argue with that at all.
Yeah.
You know, we want to keep its independence, but as you mentioned, you know, whichever candidate or party wins, they get the right to pick people on their staff, so to speak. So that is
elections matter. I mean,
that's the way it works forever. Exactly. This isn't something new. Steve, 10 years now sitting around 4%, 2-year around 3.5. Curve is still inverted, but less so than a few months ago. VIX has dropped back down towards 18. And it's, you know, that's below its long-term average of 19.5. Traders are chilling out into the holiday. Steve, when you see soft data, rising cut odds, and the VIX getting lazy just before a long weekend, is that your cue to lean into risk, or exactly what are you thinking?
No, it's a good question. A great question, actually. This is one that we be careful on. The day before Thanksgiving, everybody's traveling. Look, with the weather, and I've been posting quite a bit about the weather. People ask me, why are you posting about the weather? Because the weather affects the markets. You know what? There's a big Black Friday sales, and guess what? Storms are everywhere. Guess what? Snow is coming. Guess what? It's cold. It's 47 degrees tomorrow in New York City at the high, right? So that's going to affect people and going out. I'm not going out. It's too cold. Okay. I'll just shop online. So when you start to see that, and I saw the Black Friday sales at Best Buy. I was online the other day, and I was like, I'm looking at an iPad Mini too, so that I can show people, you know, not using my iPad, right? Okay, it's still not really a good discount, so I backed off, right? So you know, I don't know that the discount's going to be that great this year.
Yeah, could be for sure. You know, although I don't know. I've seen. Yeah, I guess it just depends. I've seen some pretty good deals already come across the.
Okay, talk to us. What have you seen?
I told you all the cruises, a lot of travel, airlines.
How about physical
deals.
products?
For me, I'm looking more at experiences, and then also I need a new laptop because I have my COVID laptop, like we talked about, and laptops. There's some pretty good deals out there for actually some pretty good. You know what I'm seeing is the big explosion of everybody putting those great NVIDIA chips into a lot of sets. I don't think people stepped up and bought the more expensive computers. So they're now coming down. I'm seeing the high end, you know what I mean? The gaming models, that have the RTXs in them and NVIDIA chips for those people.
My thought process around that is people may not be buying the higher end because they're like, well, I'm just trying to get through the next few because I know the next level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an advantage
okay.
for me. I think that, but and I agree with you because they're shopping. We're seeing that. What I'm with you, and I think that problem for you is you're looking at the mini, and that's on the lower end of that, and that's where people are stepping. You know, someone who might have wanted to buy an iPad for their kid last year might be buying an iPad mini now because it is cheaper. It's, you know, it's there. And also I'd have to say it's probably not enough profitability, right? You know, the bigger the machine, usually the more money built into it or the more margin. So,
right.
So that could be the case too. There, Steve, we got to talk a little bit about this with Google, especially with what we're seeing with Google right now. But, you know, we've had Alphabet soaring and NVIDIA slipping, the AI trade sort of rebalancing. Alphabet continued to go vertical until about a half hour ago. It hit 13 all-time highs in November, and it's closed at a record more than 3/4 of the trading days this month. Stock is up 24% in a month, 55% in 3 months, and 92% in 6 months. It's trading like a meme coin. What's going on?
Warren Buffett bought Google, and Warren Buffett's made several comments about, I don't buy things I don't understand. So this means that, you know, when he bought Apple, he started to understand it because he has an Apple phone now, right? He understands Apple because he gets the bigger picture of Apple, right? The ecosystem. Google has trouble, right? But I think that they've been given special access, meaning Anka Jane and Greg Abel, the guys running Berkshire Hathaway now. In doing so, they got to see Gemini 3. They got to see a little bit of a glimpse of the future. And you know what? I get to do that all the time. I get to go to these big companies. I get to go hang out with the CEOs, and I get to go see what they're working on and been playing with. And I think he had a good opportunity to see Gemini 3 ahead. My Gmail, my everything will have Gemini now in it, and as I get my emails now, they're all structured in a way that I don't need to read the whole thing. I get the gist of it if I don't need to, right?
Yeah,
so
I've actually been pretty impressed. I've been playing around with Gemini the last couple of days, and they did a good job. You know, we make fun of them for not necessarily being so quick to it. You actually were one of the guys that said, who uses Google anymore? I think they've given you a reason at least.
They have. They've given me a reason to use it again.
I switched my browser over at one point to ChatGPT, and I didn't like it because simple things like pulling up a website took an extra step.
Right, and I don't. I still use.
Yeah, I tried and I went back. I you know me. I like to try them all and see what's going on there, and say that. But you know, I agree with you. Gemini 3, I think, was a little bit of a game changer. But I got to ask you, is it really Google versus NVIDIA for AI dominance, or is it more like this? NVIDIA is the highway and Google is just building one more lane on the on-ramp?
NVIDIA is building the blades that the whole world runs on.
So the highway, they're building the highway that's going to travel on. Okay.
And look, Jensen Huang said it yesterday pretty bluntly to them. We are light years ahead of where Google is with their chips, right? So that may be bluster talk. I don't know. Yeah.
I will say in the last, and I'll pull up my charts here for that. In the last 20 minutes, we've seen this reversal. Google now down about 1.3% on the day, was up at 330 and change, and now at 317. And that money seems to be rotated right back into NVIDIA here, up 1.87%, and back into Microsoft, up 1.91% here today. So a little bit of a structural change here, Steve. Is this a little bit of a little monkey business by the big boys?
What did I buy last week? I bought NVIDIA, right?
I bought NVIDIA yesterday morning. I'm thrilled. And I'm still holding. That was supposed to be for long term, but it's going to do the old, what I now call the Boeing move. Every time I buy Boeing, it makes it pop.
Yeah, that was a gift, Howard. I think if you bought, I went heavy on NVIDIA, and I sold half of that yesterday. The rest of it, I'm just going to let it ride for a while. I'm really well up on this thing, and I think
if you followed Steve and I into that yesterday, or myself, who did it here, we're up 5% here since yesterday. So I will probably trim my position here, also just because it's too much too quick, right? Take profits.
Too much too quick, yeah.
Can buy a little bit. I can tell the wife to buy an extra Thanksgiving pie.
Oh wow, it is way up, another $3 today. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we just broke 180, almost 181. That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's now up.
Oh yeah,
5%
we need to.
from what we
Yeah,
bought
we
yesterday.
definitely take some profit off of this. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Zora, how are you today? Thanks for waking up with us there in the Pacific Northwest. Steve, Tesla back up nicely here today, 1.14%. Elon talking auto taxis, says they're going to double the amount of auto taxis in the Dallas region, although I will point out that that is still well below the numbers, the 500 he promised us coming in. That would make it 60. You happy with his statement, or you less than impressed?
You know, he's working on so many projects. I'm very proud of what he's getting away from the government and getting out of the Doge nonsense, getting back to business and doing his thing. You know, I wasn't for him being a trillionaire. Right? I'm still not for him being a trillionaire. I don't. It's just, but okay. You know, if he's that guy, great. But he's building some cool stuff. He's not building it, but he's a great manager. He's a great salesperson, and he's a pump artist. So he's great at that, and he's good at getting companies moving and grooving. And you know what? Good for him, man. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. So, you know what? If you you gotta set goals. That's what I do here. I set goals for the company. You set them astronomically. You might hit them, which we do. So, you know what? He's setting a pretty big goal here, and you can't get to that goal unless you set the goal. And he's in all the things he does as a manager and a pump artist, he's good at. So, absolutely, I'm with him on this one. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, jobless claims now. We're hearing reports jobless claims now declined to lowest level since mid-April. So
yeah, job numbers came out at 8:30. They were good numbers. Didn't move the market one way or the other, quite honestly. I think everybody's just sort of saying, hey, I don't necessarily trust this data yet, and not really spending much time on it. We do have some big movers on earnings front this morning, Steve. So let's rapid fire through a few and then zoom in. Dell beat Q3 earnings, booked 12.3 million in AI server orders, raised revenue guidance to 31 to 32 billion for Q4 versus a street estimate of around 27.6 billion. Stock is up about 4% in the pre-market here, almost 5% now, Steve. You know, you mentioned it. You fan of Dell here after those earnings? Did they say what you needed to hear?
Steve Flanagan got a Dell. I mean, everybody I know got a Dell, right? It's easy to get a Dell, right? I've had Dell almost all of my life. I've got a Dell down below my big server down below me is a Dell. It's easy to get Dell. Is it the best products in the world? No. Is it Alienware and
I want to pause you. They are partnered with Alienware.
I know that.
My Alienware is a Dell.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, is it the top level that most people are buying? No. They're buying the Alienware side of things, right? They're buying and you said that they're, I think that's right. I think that they're not buying the top level. They're buying the mid-level Alienwares now. They're buying what they can afford, and not because they're afraid of if they get this, they spend like $10,000 that they're not going to get. Right.
I didn't see a lot of Dell discounts yesterday. I will say that. And where they were really the lower end laptop.
Correct. And you know what? People have laptops. People want their machine at home that works great. So yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue. For me, if I was smart, I'd probably get an inexpensive laptop because let's face it, I do 90% of my stuff on my computer. So, HP, Steve, we got to move over to them. They also. They are down about 3.13% here. They had a beat on their EPS and revenue, but warned that memory prices are exploding and will be fairly significant. 30-cent drag on their full year earnings. And they're also going to cut $4,000 to $6,000 jobs. 4,000 to 6,000 jobs, excuse me, Steve. So another one talking about layoffs.
I mean, layoffs is coming. I mean, I think people need to understand that. So, the economy is not as good, and that's why you're going to start to see the Fed lower rates. I mean, I've heard from everybody now, be careful what you wish for, right? And so, yeah, be careful.
Steve, another positive one today is the Autodesk. They had both an EPS and a revenue beat, guided higher, stock up 8%. You said this is one of the bellwethers you'd be looking for. You happy with Autodesk's earnings? What did you take out of their results?
Autodesk is a little bit different. I with them, I need to see another. I need to see more from them. I'm not quite sold on them yet.
Okay.
Give me. I need for them. I need to see another.
Okay. The next one on desk is NetApp. They had a beat on earnings and revenue, had solid guidance as AI data infrastructure demand continues to ramp up. They say stock is up about 6% here. Steve, is this one of the picks and shovels you'd be interested in?
You know, I'm not really worried about any of these. Are all to me just feel like, I just can't put my finger on any of them right now.
Okay. Nutanix is another one that had a little bit of a rough day. They're down about 13 to 17% here after they cut their revenue and outlook. So that one's definitely on the downslide. And then another ones that have had good day, Workday and Zscaler both had good prints, but guidance was just okay. Workday is now down about 6%. Zscaler down 6.51. You buying the dip on either of those?
Nope. Like I said, I don't think any of these here I'm liking here. None of these.
Wow.
I think it's Mag 7. I think it's Mag 7 tech to get us out of this problem.
I got one for you they might like then, Steve. Our old favorite Urban Outfitters up 23% over yesterday and today as they absolutely launched after close. Had an EPS beat of about 8 cents, 128 versus 120. Revenue came in higher, and their retail comps are up 8%, with their Urban brand up 12.5. Management said customer engagement was lively, and we love a lively customer. But they also admitted shoppers are waiting longer for holiday promotions this year. So, like you mentioned, people are waiting for deals, Steve. But when they see it, they like it, they're buying it. So, what are you thinking?
100%. You nailed it. I don't need to add to that. That's exactly right.
Awesome. We are about 7 minutes from the open here. Tick has gone slightly positive. Advanced declines around 1720 here. You mentioned DXY continues to move back below 100. Does that concern you at all, Steve?
Yes, it does. It does concern me because here we go again, right? I think that's the old adage. Here we go again. I am.
The weird one is I've noticed that lately the VIX and the Dixie have been moving in tandem. Is that normal? I don't think
that is very normal. That is exactly normal. That tells you which way the markets are going. Yeah, correct.
Okay. And then, like I said, gold at 41.45 here, up about 37 basis points. Silver, the real winner, up 1.59% so far.
And it tells you that the retail is no longer in charge.
Yeah, Bitcoin at 87,284. So we still can't break above key levels there. And Ethereum unable to regain 3,000. We see selling most of the time across that. Mostly green across the start, Steve, with any sectors that you're looking at, one versus the other. Right now, it looks like XLY is in the lead, up about 48 basis points. Oh, I forgot XLK up 1.05. Steve, we can't go anywhere without talking about the Ukraine. What are you seeing here? U.S. envoy.
I think the president has done the right thing here. He's backing out of him and sending envoys to go fix this problem. I think that's a great thing. No more bully pulpit. Go send envoys, talk it out, get this thing done. I agree with this. This is a smart move. This is Marco Rubio is being put out the pasture right now. He's making mistakes. This White House made a big mistake on this by bully pulpit. They're cleaning this up and going back to the right diplomacy direction. I think we might have diplomacy pretty soon here. Sending the envoys is a smart move.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, it worked in the Middle East.
That's right.
Let's see if we can get it.
Send the
To
envoys.
absolutely. I do like that for sure myself. Also, Steve, one I know you are not a big fan of. Polymarket's been cleared by the CFTC to offer event contracts through brokerages. They were banned from US back in 2022 for operating without approval. Now they're back in through the front door. These are the yes no contracts you see, like will the Fed cut rates again this year? Will X candidate win Y election? Their rival Kalshi is already CFTC licensed and partnered with Robinhood. Now Polymarket can start trying to form similar brokerage relationships. Steve, how big a deal is this?
Huge. It's absolutely huge, and I don't like it. But I don't set the. I'm not the SEC, so okay. But I don't like this. We do when we invest. We don't gamble, and prediction markets are gambling. If when we invest because we think the price of something is wrong. Gambling is when you're betting on things that the prediction and can happen for any reason. Anything can happen, right? That's gambling, and I don't think the two of them should meet. But that's not my decision.
Yeah, and if you listen to the folks that are from those companies, what they said is if you're trading XPX options and Fed event contracts on the same brokerage screens, you might be hedging economic or political outcomes with binary contracts, not just
bullshit. Right? I mean, give me a break. If you want to hedge, just
I couldn't help but throw that volleyball up for you to hit there, buddy. when I
look, I'm a fan of Kalshi. I watch Polymarket and see what people are thinking. But that's nonsensical. That's just nonsense, right? Okay.
Steve,
in case anybody doesn't believe doesn't understand what I'm thinking there. Okay. I'm being very clear about it. I am looking here again at this market. Look, folks, be very careful here because the volume is low. It is to the upside. I'm excited about today, but this could be one of those they pull the rug out at some point. But I do like this. I am interested here in at Google could be Netflix. I'm also long Netflix here.
Okay. We are about 2 minutes from the open here. We'll be focused on the Mag 7 as we come in. Again, NVIDIA up at 181.81 here, up 2.24% in the pre-market. Apple pretty flat on the day, down about 3 basis points. Microsoft, another beneficiary here of good pre-market action, up 1.9%. Google giving back a little bit there, but as I mentioned earlier with the numbers, they've been on that skyrocket. You got to come back down to earth at some point.
Right.
Amazon up 56 basis points after they've had 3 straight strong days. Meta's made a strong recovery over the last few days, also up another 11 basis points this morning. Steve's friend, Mr. Musk, and they're up about 1.21% here, a little bit more uneven trading over the last few sessions. And Netflix, which had been the one with the most downward trajectory yesterday, bouncing back a little bit. Netflix up 1.34.
And I bought Netflix, as everybody knows, here yesterday, and I am going to sell some Netflix here this morning. This is a nice little run bounce. I like this run here.
We'll mention Oracle making a nice pop up this morning, up 6.3%. So some of those beaten up ones over the last few weeks are starting to get a little bit of love here today. Robinhood, another one that's been beaten up over the last month or so, up 5.33% here so far this morning. So we do see a few bouncing back. Other winners that I saw this morning, Webull up about 7.71% here. We also have ASML having a nice day here on the chip sector, up 3.8%.
Robinhood is setting up, technically, a technical analysis side of it, is setting up for a nice little bounce to the upside. More than 5% here. I think Robinhood looking pretty good here. We are now open.
We are open, everybody. Tick is slightly negative to start off with. Advanced decline moves down to 900 on the open or so. VIX shot back down below 18 here. We do see the Dow open up about 25 basis points, SPY up 39 basis points, And as we said, the NASDAQ 100 up about 61 basis points so far here this morning.
Yeah, look at the cash market. People are starting to sell a bit. That tells you a lot, right? That there's a lot of people in the cash market that just can't wait to get in. So be careful out there. This is definitely not, be careful out there.
And all of the Mag 7 outside of Google have gone positive at this point. Tick is slightly negative. Breath is okay with about 1,200 or 1,300 on the advanced decline right now. So we are seeing a little bit of breath across the market. We'd like to see that above 2,000 to show that it's not just a few things leading the way. Gold's first move is to the downside and a little profit taking there. Not surprising, the ETFs would affect some of that. And our first move on Bitcoin is to the upside. So there you go there. Ethereum a little bit. Steve, WTI can't get out of that 57 zone here. That's starting to worry you at all?
No. Google's pushing here a little bit. Qs are pushing here a little bit. No. Oil is the oil. I mean, it tells you everything about the markets, right? John Deere. I was very short John Deere. I talked about that the other day. Down 4% here this morning.
Yep, down 4.34% here, John Deere.
I did not like John Deere. John Deere's been moving higher, and I didn't like it. And now I'm right. John Deere was one I was very concerned about.
Absolutely.
CoreWeave, as everybody here knows, yesterday I bought CoreWeave. I thought CoreWeave was beaten up a little too much. Now at 4%.
Financials having a pretty good day here, led by the overseas with SMFG and MUFG, two of the Japanese trading houses leading the way. Also seeing Nubank out of Brazil up about 4% here this morning. So interesting to see that. We look at the sectors of the S&P. The only thing opening up in the negative here today is healthcare and real estate, are both slightly down.
NVIDIA now 182.66 now.
Steve, fly up another 2.31% here at 1774 today.
Yep.
Seen a lot of green across the markets so far. Let's see if this can hold up. I don't like when we move this far right off the open. It's usually the quants.
Is it me or is it time to sell? I am selling and shorting Mr. Musk.
Oh, yeah. Selling a short Mr. Musk here. Okay. Man, NVIDIA 182.33 up 2.54%. I'm going to hold a little bit. I'm going to put a trailing stop in here on half of my NVIDIA position because it's just now it's up 6% here since yesterday. Don't want to let it go too far without.
I am now short Tesla here.
Continuing to slide a little bit here at 42.06. Tick pretty flat on the day. Advanced decline up 1,500. So we are seeing some buyers step in, as we said. DXY, the dollar staying below the 90 or the 100 handle so far. We do see the Dow Jones up about 23 basis points. The S&P 500 up a half a percentage point, and the NASDAQ 100 up about 67 basis points. Today's laggard seems to be the small caps. The RUT only up 10 basis points here, which is the Russell 2000 small caps. We do see gold regain 41.50 on the open. Bitcoin struggling to hold 87,000 here so far. AMD having a nice rebound after yesterday's drop, up 2.17% so far today. Alibaba bouncing back after yesterday's drop, also up about 2.57%. Best Buy continuing to move to the upside. Strong move here, up another 2.5%. This thing has moved from 74 to 81 in the last 2 days. So nice little jump there. Nvidia just broke back above 182. See a couple of laggards here. CRM, which is Salesforce, down about 1.5% here, and that's not on any earnings or anything else. So Salesforce getting hit a little bit here today. CrowdStrike down about 23 basis points here also. As Steve mentioned, John Deere really getting.
Did I just get out? Did I just get picked up there?
Zscaler down 9% now, Steve. Dropped below its 200-day MA and continuing to move to the downside there. Is there a price level you start to like Zscaler at?
No, not really. I said that this morning,
really,
right?
I do, but it's not way down in the 215 area.
I think I just got lifted there on that Tesla short. I did. I got lifted on the Tesla short there. So I'm good. I shorted it 422 something to 420.50 here.
Nice.
And there it goes even further,
continues
right?
to slide to the downside.
Yeah. But that was nice. I took some money out. That's good.
Nvidia still moving to the upside here. UNH having a pretty good day, moving to the upside. Coinbase moving to the upside here too. Meta looks like it's trying to go back to positive after dipping down. Netflix up 2% here, Steve, for you.
You know, Howard, I can't believe I'm doing this because I did talk about that this morning, but I need to sell my Nvidia. It's really just nice bounce, good money there, and I'm going to take that Nvidia money and put it in my pocket.
There you go. I've gone the other route, just putting a trailing stop on it here for half of my position personally. So we'll see what we get there. This was meant to be for a long-term position, but like we talk about, got to take profit. I'll buy back in on a dip if it does. Q's up 48, getting hit a little bit here this morning.
Oh,
Today's the day, right, that by noon we usually see volume really start to taper off.
Yeah, and you know what, Howard, I've also got to sell my. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm just taking. You know what? I don't really want to be long too much going into the holidays here. I'm taking my Netflix off too as well. Netflix has done a nice job for me and did that too. So, wow, I thought I was going to hold a lot of this stuff, but I'm a little concerned that we might be over our skis a bit here going into this. Fly at 3.6, almost $18 there, Hondo.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those of you, I mean, I'm not in Fly anymore. I took my money yesterday, but wow.
Yep, Fly has been having a nice run here. 1802, can't argue with that at all. Copper making a nice run here too. I'm getting close to maybe taking some of that position off here also.
I'm still on Disney. I think I'll stay. Oh my goodness, look at Tesla selling. Gummit.
Yeah, Meta, Amazon, and Google have all.
Yeah, everything is selling now. I had a feeling this was going to happen. 87.3 now on Bitcoin here.
Ticked up nicely. Advanced decline has jumped up 2,500 here. We do see the VIX now at 1789, so continuing to pull back. Steve, if you're feeling that way, you looking at any VIX protection going into the weekend if it continues to fall down here a little bit?
No, I think I'm okay.
Bitcoin 87,460, nice jump back up there.
Wow. Yeah, I think we might see some selling here going into into this dollar to slip here a little bit. Oil pushing a little bit. Tick just jumped a little bit there. Look at Google now. Google now
just jumped above 87.5.
Google
Robinhood
dropping
now up 7.54% here. Nice jump by Robinhood.
Yeah, I almost bought some Robinhood here.
And you know what's interesting is this jump is I'm going to say a boomer based jump, because their favorite newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, did a nice article yesterday about how Vlad is the Pied Piper to many of these younger generation traders. And I actually said to myself, man, I can see the boomers are going to start to find out about Robinhood today. So we'll see how that goes. But that is what I'm thinking here, is that is really related to that Wall Street Journal.
You know what? I'm gonna take that trade. I'm gonna short Robinhood here a little bit. Up 7.5%.
Yeah, can't argue. It's about to hit resistance at 126. That's the key spot I'd be looking to short from. Urban Outfitters still the big winner on the day, up 13.32%. Fluence Energy up about 11.33%. It had good earnings 2 days ago, and then yesterday dropped it down a lot afterwards. So interesting there. Clean Spark up almost 10% here this morning, the Bitcoin mining company, data center company. As Steve mentioned, Robinhood up at 124.76 here, continuing to move to the upside, up almost 8% on the day. Steve's CoreWeave up 6% here, 5.9. So all those getting some love here. I mentioned Webull before the open, up 5.63%. Nice move up by Symbotic, second day in a row that Symbotic's one of the leaders here, up another 5% here, about to try to challenge its 52-week high at $84. So nice move up by Symbotic. Oracle up almost 5%, continuing to move to the upside. ASML, the chip leader, up about 3.97% here. Steve mentioned Fly up 3.52. On the other side of that, you have Nutanix down 16.16%. Ambarella down 14.5%.
Oh, Ambarella.
Zscaler. What's that, Steve?
The old Ambarella.
Yeah, down big. Zscaler down about 9% here. Workday getting hit real hard after their earnings, down 7.3%. And Formula Systems, which I'm not familiar with, down 7% also. And then John Deere down 4.5%. So there are winners and losers today. Does look like tech is the leader in the clubhouse so far, up almost a percentage point, although utilities are right there with it. So they are challenging each other today. Tick still up 338 here. Dow Jones now up about 33 basis points. S&P up 53 basis points. Qs have taken a little bit of a pullback here to 56 basis points. And the rut's been the late to the party, but the riser so far up 54 basis points. Now the leader in the clubhouse. Bitcoin struggling to hold 87 here as we watch, and Ethereum unable to break above
1808 now on Fly. Something's going on Fly there, my man. 1810 up 4.38%.
Yeah, absolutely. I am liking that move. We'll say NetApp that had been up and really big on their earnings now just pulled back down at 2% here. Dell seeing a little bit of a sell off there. Robinhood continuing to move the upside there. Like I said, that 126 is the area of key resistance going to face here in a second. Oracle continuing to move back up to the upside. Also, Shopify having a nice little day here, up about 1.33%. It's on a multi-day win here. Hewlett Packard continuing to get hit here, down about 1.36% so far. Tick has gone, no, still positive. Advanced decline continuing to move to the upside. So market continues to move to the upside here, Steve.
Yeah.
Intel up 2.26% here today. Coal's now up 3.17% here, looking to hit a new 52-week high. And that's without any of my wife's money this week that I know of. Palantir up 1.9. So we are seeing a rotation back to some of those names that have been getting beat up for Google, huh, Steve?
Yep. Agreed. Yep.
Steve, Disney up a little bit here, 32 basis points. Slowly but surely, the mouse coming back from that 100 level back at 103.64.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. Wish it was moving higher, but it's just.
There you go, Robinhood starting to look a little top. Never mind.
Yeah, I did not get my short, by the way. I was trying. I did not get it, so I'm not in it, unfortunately.
No, it's going up, so that's
good. Oh,
good.
is it? I still want to short. I still want to short. It doesn't mean I didn't. Yeah, I just didn't get it.
Now it's starting to pull back. Here you go. Like I said, it was more that 126 area I wanted to watch there. Rejection.
CoreWeave up 5.5%. Wow. Amazon here 230.34 there.
Bitcoin 87,434. So nice little jump there.
That bounce back in Amazon's nice. Technically on the daily chart is setting up to push up again.
I mentioned financials all doing well here today, Steve. Almost everything in the green there. Goldman Sachs up another 1.5 percentage points. Morgan Stanley up 1 percentage point. Chips are all in the green also. Looks like the leader so far, Marvell, which got hit the other day, up about 2.94 here now. Nice little recovery since dropping last week.
Tesla could be shorted again here.
Bitcoin's gone positive on the day here, 87,505. Nice move to the upside there. Tick's flying back up 500. So we've stayed really nicely here on the tick, moving back to some of the highs of the day. So some positivity here as we break 10 minutes from the top of the hour.
Intel's up 2.4%.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna sit in the sidelines right here. We've done a hell of a week the last few days, and I might just sit in the sidelines a little bit here, Hondo.
Can't argue with that, As you meant, we're going to go into the volume will start to diet. It will dry up real quickly today.
As throughout the day, as travelers start to make their moves to the airports and to the trains and to the cars.
Planes and Automobiles, great movie.
That's right.
Our boy John Candy. People are buying the dip on John Deere. It's now only down 3.97%. So moving back to the upside a little bit here after getting crushed on their earnings. Take a look at it from the other side here. A little bit of profit taken across Urban Outfitter. Hood holding up pretty well at that 125 level. That's nice to see there. Webull up now 5.11%.
Dollar still falling here.
Healthcare is the only sector of the S&P in the red. And we do see technology, utilities leading the way. See a nice little pop by UNG. I brought that up yesterday, up about 2.6% here. Steve, we will get the Fed's beige book today. I do want to bring that up. We will get that today at 2 p.m. as we go into the Thanksgiving holidays. Some reading for your bathroom.
Yep.
Oracle pulling back now, only up 3.86% here. So we are seeing some selling off of those hot names this morning.
Look at that Tesla drop again. Yeah.
Tick has gone slightly negative.
Yeah, look at Hood now. Hood dropping there. I had a feeling that was the case. Look at that drop. I missed it. Tick now down 265 now on the lows.
Yep, advanced decline fell back down to 3,000, was as high as 37.88. So after the euphoric start, seeing a little bit of a pullback, but holding up pretty well in my opinion so far.
Yeah, I know, but I think the problem is the volume is drying up now.
Well, I was about to say what I'd like to see is volume dry up while it's here, so it kind of holds up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? If volume just sort of drags off for the rest of the day, that we might hold some of these levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? That's sort of what I'm looking at. Does the lack of volume actually help the market today? You know, the folks that might have been taking profit already did, and now they're gone to their homes in the Hamptons.
124.11 now on the Hood. That's nice drop there. Yeah, wow. Okay.
Well, Steve, I do see Mr. Flanagan has entered the room. Let's get a little bit of
Bring that boy in.
Of Mr. Flanagan and see what's going on. Steve, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Happy Thanksgiving to all the viewers and to you guys. And you guys have nailed it. This is a holiday market. Everybody's sitting at the desk right now saying, what are we doing here? What time is my flight? When am I
I gotta get down. I gotta go to Henry's down, or we're gonna go down to the bars or across the floor. Let's go to.
Right, time to get to McSorley's.
You know,
do you guys even go to McSorley's anymore? I mean, I love McSorley's. You know, we want light or dark. Oh, light or dark. Yeah.
Light and dark. I still go. I go every time I'm there.
Yeah. Some of the old places in New York you got to visit just for the nostalgia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the same bartender for 50 years. I've been seeing this guy, 35, 40 years.
That's
He's still
right.
there every day. I love him. So, Steve, what are you looking at here going into the holiday weekend? I mean, it's Thanksgiving here. It doesn't mean the rest of the world's going to take the next day off, right?
Well, at this time of the year, you're right. That is absolutely right. But everybody will use it as an excuse to lighten up trading. So renewed optimism on a Fed rate cut is starting to permeate the markets and take hold. And, what that means is just what the markets are showing us. It's a very big positive right now. And I would look for it to continue. Although, as you guys have been echoing, you want to manage risk because it's quite clear now as the numbers are starting to come out who has been making all the money this year. It's no less all of your big hedge funds. Now, having traded toe-to-toe in hedge fund territory, these guys are notorious for taking advantage of very thin liquidity, i.e., your post 5 o'clock, which most of us don't trade, but post 5 o'clock and the futures markets all overnight. You ever notice why these moves happen so big? Because they can snowball the effect.
Right.
Let's bring it home to right now. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving, U.S. markets are closed, but watch what happens in the other markets because they can trade all the markets.
Right.
So you want to be very careful, risk adverse here. I think, you want to be looking for hedge trades right now. Today, Friday, you'll have an abbreviated day. Then you're off Saturday, Sunday. So this is a 4-day period here ahead where you want to be a little bit careful. Likewise, you could end up opening on Monday morning a heck of a lot higher than where we are right now as more and more talk of Fed rate cuts hits the news wires.
We do get a half a day of trading on Friday, right?
A half a day, but
yeah.
I just wanted to point out to our retail traders that might be saying, "Wait a second, what Monday? What's going on?"
Yeah, I guess I was giving it too much of an institutional side.
Yeah, and that's because it's true, right? That is the case. Is that the big boys aren't coming back to the office on Friday. It's pretty much 99.9% either a quant or a retail trader trading Friday, and it's a very abbreviated day.
But I would urge, if you want to see what I'm saying, look in, go, run in a search and how have the hedge funds been doing this year? And you'll see record year for hedge funds. And so what does that mean? Big bonus payouts. What does that mean? No risk, exceptional risk in December, which means the retail market is beginning to exert a lot more muscle in this marketplace. So you could end up with one of these moves that begins to happen. You're not going to find people stepping in to try to set the narrative as, if the market goes up, they're going to come in with the shorts because nobody wants to put a lot of risk on in December from an institutional point of view.
Right. Can't argue with that at all.
You don't think that at all? Is this a different year though, Steve?
In what sense, Steve?
Geopolitical, Fed, president. Shall I go on? It feels like a different year than the years past.
No doubt about it. And you know what that means? It forces you into the market to trade because
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the market is giving credibility because of the start, stop nature of the Ukraine-Russia peace deal. I don't think we're giving enough credit to the positive that could have in the financial markets globally, because what that means for Europe and for the Ukraine and for the world is a lot of rebuilding of the Ukraine. I
Yep.
mean, you've seen the pictures. So much of it's been devastated. Whoa, why at the same time we're rebuilding the Gaza? So there's a lot of things out there. And when I look at the world, German GDP was just released at 0%. And that comes off of the last quarter at 0%. So, Europe needs this type of rebuilding. US PPI, hey, that was reduced on a year-to-year basis, core down to 2.6. And oh my goodness, what did Mr. Powell say? Tariffs were 0.6. So therefore, we are at 2%. Come on, Fed. You got to be kidding me. What are you trying to? You're squeezing a drop out of the market here. We're already at your goal. And take in RBNZ, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. They just cut rates again to 2.25%. And my last piece from overnight and for the last 2 days, China is now faced with a Chinese government-backed real estate firm called Vanus, and they're trying to avoid default. So there's a lot of things going on out in the world. Every one of them equals lower interest rates.
Right. Absolutely. So we got to bring it to the charts here, sir.
Yep.
DXY right now at 99.73 here. What are we saying?
As we talked Monday, we've kind of hit a level when I am, I backed off. I'm out of my longs, waiting either we break higher above the 140 level and extend, or I'm looking to buy the dip. I think the dip could be 99.50 to 99.70. That's the zone I'm looking to get back in. Last week's close was 120, so we are set to close below it. There are some, from a technical point of view, I'm looking for that. The dollar trading in this sideways pattern just reinforces everything that's pro equity market here in the States. If I see the dollar index surge, I get worried about the U.S. equity positions. So this is a nice little give back. We're going to probably trade off. The currency that I would like to highlight today, one sterling. I've been talking about the UK budget. It came out. And the Treasury Reeves tightrope this one. She walked the gangplank and did not fall off. At least the market is trading sterling up 131.95 after last week's close of 130.96, substantially higher. But she backloaded the budget with tax hikes. In fact, increasing people's savings, dividends, property by 2%, a disaster. This is not going to work. You cannot tell me that in 2027 and 2028, this is my expected revenue. Come on, we can't even look out beyond a month or 2 weeks. So I don't agree with it. I'll be looking to sell sterling on any bounce here. The second thing I would point out is there's a lot of talk in Japan now that so on Thanksgiving Day, when we come back Friday morning, we will have had the key Tokyo CPI come out. It's expected to move from 2.8 to 2.7, and that's not necessarily a good thing in Japan, because as inflation begins to drop in this watched index, then they all start to say, oh no, here comes our 25-year fight of deflation. It's coming back. So that could keep the Bank of Japan from raising rates. But the 30-year JGB in Japan is at all-time highs, which is telling us that rates need to go up. So Japan is in a very tough situation. Dollar yen has retreated back to a 156.50. I'll call this more of a neutral territory, but I really want to be careful, as I've highlighted. If you get up above a 158, 159 level, Bank of Japan is threatening to intervene again. So the yen could throw turmoil throughout all the markets because of the carry trade.
And with the yen, is there a big concern here of China?
Financially, no, I don't think so. I think it's, a geopolitical issue.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a big problem. They've had problems since the 1940s or World War II.
Right.
That's never going to go away until the population ages, and those that had grandparents that talked about it are gone. So no, I don't see it as a big problem. It's a little different than a China-Taiwan. China-Japan. Japan has the United States umbrella over top of it.
Well, that's what I meant. I mean, China-Japan issue, is that a concern for the Japanese yet?
No, it's not. And
Okay.
China has a whole different situation here, because Japan would just be waiting for the snap of the finger and could be potentially nuclear. And that would put a nuclear power on top of China's border. So China has to play that one very, very carefully.
Wow. Wow. I usually I'm at a loss of words today in a lot of ways, because the markets have played right back into our hands, Steve.
The markets have played perfectly, Steve. And, into my quantum convergence,
Right.
I'm just going to throw, if we do get a Russia-Ukraine, the envoy is heading over, Steve Witkoff. This guy seems to be the miracle worker.
I said this morning.
That could be a possible next week type thing. But, another piece suddenly comes out of nowhere, the Genesis mission. I mean, okay, sounded nice, got a catchy buzzword, but remember who controls the most data, and AI and everything needs data. The government getting involved and reorganizing the government into discovering, engineering. This is like, this is serious stuff, which is very positive because of what could come out of it. So, I am very positive in my view. And I just think you need to get through these pockets where the narratives turn so negative, and what I mean by that is all the AI companies are floating debt to finance a lot of what they're doing. Okay. That kind of goes with basic capitalism. You borrow, invest, and then build. And so I don't see anything about that. I look at the Michael Burrys in the world, and I'm like, look, people who work short the markets for a living have created nothing. They're like, to me, they're like the fish at the bottom of the ocean. They don't really have much of a purpose except to clean the water that flows down. I'm not very fond of them at all. I think that they force a narrative that keeps people looking very short term. And if you want to really make money in the world, you've got to be an investor, and you've got to step back and look out the broad macro view. And I think that landscape each and every day is getting more and more positive.
Yeah, I think that is the case. BigBeat, any last words for us today?
It looks like we're seeing some loading up of Amazon 230 calls for January. We're seeing quite a bit of that right now.
Just to describe this from an institutional point, you've had this sharp, aggressive, emptying your wallet move down.
Yeah.
Now December comes, and it's going to probably go into one of these gravitational moves back up.
Right.
And when everybody starts, remember here for the viewers, January 1st or 2nd, first
Right.
trading day, everybody's in the starting blocks at zero. Nobody's made money yet for the year. So everybody comes gangbusters out of the, what is that going to be? Of course, you can see, Steve, you're loading up on calls for January because everybody's going to come out of the starting blocks going, I got to be long.
I got to be long. Right. I agree with that. And Amazon alone, because of the holidays. Interestingly there. All right, Steve. Man, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, to your family, and we're about to hit 2,000 viewers. It's good, man. Look at this, good, really good. It seems that when we look at, I'll just ask you, Steve, what are you thankful for, my man?
Oh, I'm thankful for my family, my friends, and I wake up every morning and I'm thankful each day I get to look at another day.
Me too, man. I love that for us. Listen, Power, take us home, but I am thankful for the relationships and the family and the friends that I've gathered over the years, and Quasar Markets would not be here today without those family and friends that have supported me and supported the company and supported the mission of what we're trying to do. So I'm very, very thankful for this year, and 2026 looks really, really good. So I'm thankful for you, Steve, and Howard is a friend of 35 years here. So take us home, Howard.
You got it. I'm thankful for you guys. Of course, all of our viewers here. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. Hit that like, share, follow button. Come join us again on Friday. We will be here to bring you all of the updates on that abbreviated day. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving, everybody. See you on the back end.